Manriquez. I am the coordinator for the Graduate Student Center. I'm standing in today for Dr. Denver Fowler, Associate Dean of Graduate and Undergraduate Studies. He's out at a conference today, so he couldn't be here with us. Also with us presenting is Dr. Maria Wright, Education Faculty at Bakersfield College. She will be presenting about the Faculty Diversification Fellowship Program at Bakersfield College today. Welcome, Maria.
Thank you so much for having me here today. So I do have a PowerPoint presentation, but I do want to note that this will be more of a conversation type of presentation. So feel free to jump in and ask questions if you have them. So a little bit of a background here. This is the fourth year that we are actually doing this program. And every year, the program and the cohorts have morphed as we get additional funding and interest from various participants. Every year, again, is different. This year, we're formalizing the process a little bit more through a memorandum of understanding with CSUB. We have other institutional partners that are embedded within our program. So I'll go through that a little bit. About 6 years ago, we started having the conversation of the representation of faculty on our campus as it relates to student makeup, racial and ethnic makeup. And as you can see from this chart, this is the latest data we have. And most of our faculty, whether they're part-time or full-time, identify as white, non-Hispanic. However, most of our students identify as Hispanic. So like CSUB, we are a Hispanic serving institution, but there is definitely a gap in how we represent our students when you look at the faculty body. While we have amazing faculty that are from various racial makeups, there is a lot of information in the literature about representation and student success, specifically for students of color. So that's how we got this idea to start looking at some of the people that are in master's program and identify what career fields they're pursuing and see if we can have an opportunity to cultivate our own graduate students to come back and teach for us. We target faculty of color or graduate students of color, but we really are wanting to bring folks that celebrate diversity of thought. So those folks that are interested in helping students from disadvantaged backgrounds, whether they identify as a racial minority or not. We're looking to cultivate a learning environment for students that can advance academically and professionally through the support of our faculty. When we brought this idea forward, we applied for some seed money out of the Aspire Alliance Regional Collaborative, which is funded through the National Science Foundation. And there's two overarching goals for this organization. And number one is to increase the number of graduate students that are applying for teaching positions at a two-year college, but also to diversify that pool and then strengthen the professional onboarding of faculty in STEM disciplines. So we focus specifically on STEM disciplines the first few years, but most recently we were awarded some funds out of the Foundation for California Community Colleges, which allows us to expand beyond our STEM disciplines. And again, we're targeting BIPOC, which stands for Black, Indigenous, and People of Color. We're targeting people with limited teaching experience in the higher ed. So even if someone has teaching experience in K-12 or other settings, if there is limited, meaning 3 years or less in higher ed, or specifically community college, we're definitely interested in helping you become part of this program. And then through this organization and this training, we hope to broaden participation to other institutions within our region, whether that's a 2-year or another 4-year. And then lastly, to cultivate and enhance a pipeline for participants to be able to successfully navigate the interview process and the onboarding process for full-time teaching positions at community colleges. So there's 3 overarching objectives from this program. And the first one, again, is to prepare fellows from URM backgrounds to develop the skills they need to support pedagogical expansion for social cultural skills in helping, again, underserved communities, and then increase the URM folks to be prepared for faculty positions at community colleges, whether that's at Bakersfield College or others. And then lastly, to increase the retention, progression, and success rates of URM students through the representation and inclusive learning methods of folks that go through the program. Okay, so this is the program model. So we're going to anchor here for just a moment. So this is a 1-year commitment. And folks that get accepted to be part of this program in the fall, you are asked to participate in our Flex or professional development training, which is a 2-day training for our campus community. So that includes our administration, our faculty, our staff, and even some of our students. And there's information about the tenure process, using some of our case management systems like Starfish, our learning management system like Canvas, things that are going to help you to be better in your position. At that point, we also have our program orientation and our kickoff, where we allow you to meet with the people that are part of your cohort, including the faculty mentors that you are assigned. So in this program, we do have faculty mentors in your specific discipline or closely related discipline that can help guide you through the program. So in that first semester in the fall, it's a 16-week semester, and you will be meeting with your faculty for a total of 4 hours, your faculty mentor. 2 hours, you'll be doing some classroom shadowing, some guest lecturing, even potentially some shadow grading to just help you understand the basics of being a faculty member at a community college. And the other 2 hours, you will be given an opportunity to meet with your mentor outside of the classroom to talk about potentially some of your application documents, like your CV or your teaching demonstration, your teaching philosophy, things that are necessary and required for the application process, really to help you just be ready to take on your own load. And during that time, you're also enrolled in an Education B15 course, which is entitled Teaching at a California Community College. I teach that course, and it is an asynchronous course with modules that you go through. You are required, rather, to complete some really cool modules, I think, where you learn about the shared governance of the college, about the curricular process, to introduce new courses or new curricula. And so there's really an opportunity where you're hands-on. And then in the spring, it's your field work, right? So we actually assign you a load. So based on your discipline, you get about 1 or 2 courses, and you're actually the instructor of record for that class. And you are responsible for the students in that course, and you will be teaching that course with the guidance of your faculty. So your faculty mentor will not be in the classroom with you, but they will provide some additional support. So by the time you finish the program, not only have you gone through some pedagogical training through the Education B15 course, you've received some mentorship, but you also have some teaching experience, which at this point in our professional era, you need some teaching experience for entry-level teaching position. But how do you get that teaching position? So we're really helping open up opportunities and close that gap that is currently there. So I'm going to pause here for a minute. I do see some movement in the chat. So let me see if there are any questions.
Yeah, I was just, excuse me, wondering, what is the ideal time in your graduate student? Like, what is the time that this is intended for? Like your last year or of graduate school, and then you would be applying, or is it?
Yeah. So ideally, it's within the last year. So our graduate students have to meet the minimum requirements to teach at a California community college. So if you're within your last year, or you have, just a couple semesters left, or 1 semester left, or you recently graduated, that's ideal, because at that point you have the master's requirements fulfilled to be able to teach in the spring semester.
I have a physical disability due to a chronic illness, and I ambulate with a walker. So is this a disability-friendly program? That's my question.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have had similar situations in the past, and we are able to accommodate those requests. Luisa, remind me of your discipline.
It's Spanish.
Perfect. Okay. Yeah. And we can talk offline a little bit more, but there's definitely opportunities to ensure that you are successful in this program if you choose to apply. So based on the funding that we've recently received, we have the opportunity to do a couple of things. And the first one, we have very limited spots, a total of 4 fellows, and you'll get a tuition stipend of $3,000, because we can cover up to 50% of your tuition. So you're going to get $3,000 to go towards your tuition. Then you'll get an additional $3,300 for the hours that you complete. that's roughly $6,300 for the fall term. And then in the spring term, you are given an opportunity to earn income as a faculty of record, which ranges anywhere from $3,000 to $11,000, depending on the amount of classes that you teach. And I do apologize because that's not within that column there. There's 4 spots for those. And then there's 14 spots for folks that are not receiving the tuition stipend, but still will get the compensation for completing the hours. And again, the compensation is the same as $3,300. So I do see that there is a question here. So let me open this. Are there classes in the evening? Yes, we definitely have classes in the evening. Some of our classes are online. We're moving towards more face-to-face, specifically for lab-based courses. So for our sciences, we are meeting in person, but there is flexibility within times and days of those course offerings. And if you have specific questions about when those courses are taught, you can definitely reach out to me and we can have a short Zoom meeting to talk about the availability there. I'm going to pause. I see Tiffany, you have your hand raised.
Yes, I kind of want to piggyback off of Alexandra. For me, I'm in my last year almost, starting fall. So fall, spring is when I plan to try to complete my MPA program.
Okay.
Would I qualify not this time, but next time? How would that work?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So in the past, we've said if you're within your last year, go ahead and apply. We are going back and forth with HR right now to try to finalize those details. So I would say go ahead and apply. And if we are not able to accommodate, we can archive your application and then pull it for the next cohort. So definitely put in your application, and then I can finalize those details with HR because there's legislation is written to allow folks that are in an internship program to teach if they're close to finishing the program. But, it takes a little bit of nudging to get some of those things to come to fruition. So hang in there, apply, and we'll try to get you set up.
Okay, thank you.
Of course. This is a really long slide. I have no intention of reading through it, but there is some testimonies here. When you have some time, we're going to share this PowerPoint. Just take some time to read through it because I think it gives a great insight about the kind of information that is covered with your mentor, the course, and the overall experience of the program. I am proud to say that we've had a good amount of CSUB students successfully were offered full-time teaching positions. 2 of them from the last cohort teach at BC right now full-time in the biology department. We have about 4 that are teaching at CSUB full-time in various disciplines. So there is quite a bit of success for folks that are going through this program to, again, get full-time teaching positions. We do have some that are teaching part-time for various institutions. So 90% of people that go through the program end up in a teaching position, whether that's part-time or full-time. So we definitely support you in your longevity. We like to follow your success and offer support where necessary. I write a lot of letters of recommendations, and it serves as references for many of our candidates, and I love to see their progress as they continue to progress in their academic journey or professional journey, rather. Alexandra, I see your hand.
I was just wondering if you've had previous fellows or if it's compatible with people who will continue to get their PhD before they're applying to teach.
Yep. So as you can see from this slide, we have a number of institutional partners. When we started our cohort, we were partnered with UC Merced, and many of those folks are working on their PhD programs. They can participate in this program if they're finishing up their master's, but will continue on to their PhD. That way you have the flexibility if you want to teach. You're not limited to a TA position, but you can actually teach as you're finishing your program. And same with folks at UCLA. We've had a few candidates actually take that route. So it's not uncommon to get that experience prior to. So from here, you can see the folks that we're working with. Again, we are partnered with the National Science Foundation. We have folks out of Fresno State and UCLA that apply for our programs. And of course, CSUB and then UC Merced. The application is open, so it is live now. And there is no deadline per se. But if we want to get you set up for the fall, then definitely apply as soon as possible. At least send me an email letting me know that you want to apply so I can start working on recruiting a mentor that can help me with the interview process and all of that, so that you are set up if you actually will go through the program starting this fall. So there is a link to the application in the slides. And on here, there's also a list of the things that you will need. So again, please send me an email. Let me know if you intend to apply, even if you're not fully ready to apply right now. That way I can do the work that I need to do on my end, since faculty are off contract right now. I can start reaching out to them and see if they're available to help me with this process to get you set up for fall. And then this is the last slide here. There's some links for you to navigate. There's a link to the application, my email, and then some of our websites that we have available regarding the program. That's all I have on my end.
So with the Rising Scholar program, with some of the classes being taught inside the prisons, is that going to be an option for any of the people that apply, or is that?
Yes. That is definitely one of our, and thank you for mentioning that, because I forgot to include that in my PowerPoint. So there's specific areas that we target with our program, and that includes the Rising Scholars, includes our rural areas, so like Arvin, Delano, areas that may be harder to get some of our faculty to, and potentially even some early college classes. So those are the areas that we look to fulfill, especially if there's a candidate with the interest in one of those programs.
Hi, I was wondering, just as far as compatibility with graduate student working hours, we're limited to 20 hours a week during the semester, and our pay would and with financial aid, if it's relevant, that can be affected by this. I just wondered if you were familiar with the situation or knew.
So you are not going to be employed through CSUB. You will be employed through BC. So those hours and limits will not apply. You will be an employee of Bakersfield College.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Good question.
I'm just kind of blown away, but I'm super excited for this. I kind of just really want to tell you thank you for, bringing this to us. James told me about it, so he put me kind of up on that, and I'm glad I read the information he gave to me so I could really understand it. And I just kind of really want to thank you for this opportunity of bringing it to us, those who did not know about it. And I see big things happening with this, and I would love to be a part of this now, future, and even after I've gained the skills, maybe I could be kind of like a mentor or something.
Yes.
Do you do that with the fellows that have come through? Is that something you all do?
Yes. So thank you so much for that comment, Tiffany. It's been a long time in the making, and it is a lot of work to try and secure funding for these kind of opportunities and establish MOUs to incentivize things like the tuition stipend. And so Dr. Denver and I have been working along with Martha to secure a lot of these things, because we want to make sure that we provide opportunities for our students to be successful, right? So that includes our graduate students, but also our undergraduate and our students that are at Bakersfield College. So we have seen high success rates for both the people that are going through the program, but even looking at things, and I realize that things like rate my professor are not super accurate, because you either really like your professor or really don't like your professor when you provide feedback. But seeing some of the feedback that are provided to folks that go through the program is just amazing, because it's those things like my faculty cares. We have a bio faculty who started to make TikToks for her bio students, and they're like, hey, you're the TikTok teacher. And so those are the kind of things that we try to implement to help bridge that gap, right?
Yes, my question was, is there a limit on the different departments where you receive fellowships, or is it open to all the departments?
It's open to all the departments.
Okay. And is there a limit for how many fellowships you have within each department?
No.
Okay. Thank you. And just to piggyback on what Tiffany said, it is a great opportunity. I'm so happy to see the merger between CSUB and BC, and those statistics that you showed at the beginning. I mean, it's something that Marta and Jimena have talked a lot about, the student statistics not reflecting the faculty. So that's great. Thank you so much.
Of course. Thank you. And what's surprising is we have the candidates that can fill those positions. So we have to work backwards to see what's happening. Why are people not being selected for these positions, or why are people not applying?
So my question was, I had a question about if it was at night, because currently I'm a full-time teacher. So that's my first concern. I don't want to leave one boat and be in the water.
Sure.
So at night, evening classes. And then I know that CSUB has a AVC campus. And I don't know if you mentioned that at all, but I know they have an AVC campus and they have degrees offered there, including teaching. So I wanted to know if that would be where I could or is available to teach. Would that be an option?
With the time availability, we definitely have a wide range of time offerings of courses, right? So for shadowing, it's going to depend on what time those courses are offered. If you have specific availability, let me know and I can look up our course offerings and then even try to see if we can partner you with someone who's teaching online. In regards to the classes in AV, so CSUB has a satellite campus there, but the community college that serves that area is Antelope Valley College, which is a different entity. So we would have to partner with them, which is something we are definitely willing to do, just haven't crossed that bridge yet. But I'm happy to make those connections and see what we can negotiate to try and place some of our fellows there. Again, this is new for us, so we're navigating those things, but that is something that we definitely want to investigate.
Yes, I agree with Anastasia. This is almost too good to be true. We're like, question, is this legitimate? But I love it. I love it. And I wanted to ask you, exactly that. Did you foresee this being a long-term thing, or is this like one grant that you got and let's take advantage of it right now because it might be gone in the future? What do you think
so the
about
grant that we have is for a 4-year time frame starting with the last academic year. I don't see this program going away after that because we've had such a high success rate. So whether that fund comes from our own institution or we continue to apply for grants or a mixture of both, it's to be determined, but I don't think this program is going to go away.
Awesome. So I was noticing on the requirements, it mentioned a couple of things. So full disclosure, I'm still in my BA program. I left education for a while, so I'm early to the party. But in the requirements, it said sample syllabi. So for me wanting to apply later on in the future, once I'm in that master's class, and then for those that are applying, when you say sample syllabi, for those of us that have never made a syllabi, like, what does that look like?
Yeah, that's a great question. That is a requirement to go to in order to apply using our portal. That is a document that is required. However, if you need help with the development of those documents, we can support you. We're not here to weed you out. We're here to help you get on board. So if you have questions about how to develop something that is valuable, I'm happy to share some of my own documents to help give you a frame of reference. So please don't be shy about where you need support so that we know how to help you. There's some basic information that should be included are things like, the title of the course registration number, a course overview, the learning objectives, the learning outcomes, required texts, course expectations, assignments, right? So what are you going to go through and when do you expect those assignments to be submitted? What kind of assignment is it? Is it a paper? Is it an exam? And then office hours and resources. So whether that is I have a list of resources. I include things like Title IX, disability, the Office of Disability, the Office of Student Life, information on plagiarism, so on and so forth. So I am happy to share those documents so that you can see how I develop my syllabi. And many times when you're applying for these kind of programs, it can be intimidating. Things like a teaching philosophy. Well, what is that, right? And how do I formulate how I teach, right? When I've never been taught to teach like that. I thought that's what this program was about. So it's kind of ludicrous to me how many barriers we create for people. And so I am happy to even host a workshop where we go through those documents, right? Because again, the goal is to help you to be equipped to go through this process and not prevent you from being successful. I am happy to coordinate with Dr. Denver and Martha to make sure we get you set up successfully.
Awesome. Then one follow-up question, because I'm an undergrad and I'm not sure how many else might be an undergrad. Like, is there a way for us to kind of take advantage of some of the training without getting paid or credit? Like, I'll follow Tiffany around like on her coattails. I don't have a problem with that. I'm not tripping.
I think that we should probably do a little bit more. I think, and I wish Dr. Fowler were here because we can talk about how to close that gap, right? Like even how to have some mock interviews and maybe like a faculty colloquium where I can invite some of my department chairs and my deans to talk about how the interview process works from their perspective, because they're part of the interview process at every step of the way. And even potentially some HR folks where they are the first folks that see the applications. What are you looking for? And how do you determine if someone is qualified and someone is not qualified? So whether that's a learning series with a set of workshops or, some white papers, I don't know, but I'm happy to collaborate to make sure we have that as a resource for the Graduate Center.
Awesome. Thank you, Dr. Wright. You're the best.
Well, thank you.
My question was focused around the requirements, and James asked one of them because I've never created a syllabi and I was unsure about that. But then you were saying that we can email you and let you know that we're interested while we gather these things together.
Absolutely.
So how long do we have to submit? Because the dates on there, I think they were April 5th, or is that?
April 5th is when the application opened.
Okay. And it's not closed yet, though.
No.
Okay. So how long time frame do we have?
So
is it
Stephanie,
2 weeks?
what is your field of study?
MPA.
MPA. Okay. I can already think of some folks that would be great mentors. Reach out to me and let me know about it. And then,
I was going to say, should I just reach out and?
Yeah. And then we'll work backwards from there. Yes.
Okay. Because there would be some things that I would, I'm not knowledgeable of just yet.
That's fine.
Like creating okay. Yes. Okay. Thank you.
Of course.
There is one question on there. Does this mean people can apply anytime, or they have to apply by?
I hate to leave it as such a vague deadline. Technically, yes, but if you apply in October, you've completely missed the deadline, right? So technically, yes, but in order to be well prepared and be partnered with a mentor, I would say definitely by like mid-July, I need your documents in formally so that we can get you set up with a mentor. And then James, as I'm thinking through it, in the past, what we have done is that we bring folks on board and you can take the class and then participate, reach out to one of the folks in the discipline that you are pursuing or interested in pursuing and request to shadow them, like in 1 or 2 classes. And then we also ask that you attend a campus-wide committee, whether that's like Academic Senate or EODAC, which is our equity, I don't remember what it stands for at this moment, but there's also curriculum. I mean, there's a number of campus-wide committees that you can attend, and you are still an employee of the college. So we can definitely do something that is on a smaller scale, so you can start navigating the process, even if you're not fully onboarded. So let me discover that a little bit more with some of our internal parties. But stay in touch because I definitely think that there's a potential opportunity there.
Awesome. Thank you, Dr. Wright. I appreciate you.
Of course.
Yeah, I was just wondering if I could maybe schedule a meeting with you.
Absolutely.
Because I've already have my Saracosa or community college that I've been teaching in the past.
Okay.
contract, and then I also consult with Bakersfield College. So there's some certain topics that I already am experienced in.
I am definitely available via email and happy to set up a Zoom meeting to go over specific details if you want to talk about your individual situation.
How do you get more, what you call it, professional contacts? I only have 4 on my resume, because I've worked as a research assistant at CSUB for Dr. Parada in the linguistics department.
So if you only have 4, in order to make it through because it'll request 6, what we've said to other folks in the past who are still building up their professional contacts is to just duplicate until you get to the 6. So even if you list someone twice, that's okay too, just to make sure that you are meeting the criteria. I appreciate each and every single one of you for sharing and asking questions and taking a chance on this program. And I hope that many of you will consider applying either for this fall or future cohorts.
I thought initially that there were only 4 positions available, but on the slide it said like 14 without the tuition stipend. Is that correct?
Yes. So there's 4 that are going to be more competitive, which will include the tuition stipend as well as compensation. And then 14 for folks who are interested or who apply. So you'll apply for the same application will be for everyone, right? And then we will then identify 4 candidates who will get the tuition stipend, and then the rest will get the compensation. So a total of 18 spots.
I see.
Okay. And is there like different requirements for the tuition stipend or?
No, but I'm going to work with Dr. Fowler to make that selection process. So it's going to be, the same application. We're just going to look to see who gets those specific, that additional support.
Okay.
Either way.
Yeah.
I'm looking to get the skills and after that, it's just easier to, pathway for the next people coming in, I think,
Yes.
And like you said, this is something that you feel is going to continue no matter what, whether the funds are coming from DC or, wherever.
Right.
So I think I'm just super excited. I'm going to go right over to Martha in a little bit.
I love it. Yes. And, every institution functions differently, and there's other institutions in California that have similar programs. I will say the highest stipend I've seen is for $1,000. So we definitely try to incentivize our folks a little bit more and say, how much can we pay?
It's funny because I've been looking for a way to get involved in teaching, know, especially in the institute, the prisons. Straight up. And so for this opportunity to just be dangling in front of me like this, I'm kind of like, whoa, thrown back a bit. So I haven't stopped smiling since the meeting started.
I love it. Let's make it happen. Make sure you email me.
Yes. Thank you for all the information. And once again, thank everyone. It was nice seeing you all.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.